A very warm welcome to you all to the launch of our new webinar series, Dwell in Drupal 8. Unity is very excited to celebrate Drupal 8's first birthday by launching this series. And this series is exclusively covering working experiences with Drupal 8. At Unity, we have been working on some interesting projects on Drupal 8, like pilot project for National Virtual Library of India with IIT Bombay, IIT International Applicants Portal, and an infrastructure inspection workflow portal. And the amazing part about all these Drupal 8 projects is that we have the consent of the end users to contribute code back to the Drupal community. So, in order to cherish our journey with Drupal 8, we are launching this new webinar series to connect people in new ways and listen to their experiences. And also today we are very proud and extremely happy to have Mr. Sivaji, co-founder and technical director of NACForge Soft Solutions Private Limited. And he agreed to host our first broadcast. Mr. Sivaji has been passionate Drupal contributor for over 8 years. He is also active organizer in Chennai Drupal community, and apart from being co-maintainer of this project, he is also technical reviewer of Drupal 7 module development and Drupal 7 themes book. Sivaji, thank you so much for joining us. We are extremely happy that you have agreed to do this.
Thank you, Jaya, for the introduction.
Okay, and before starting our session, I would like to mention a couple of points to you all. Except for me and Sivaji, everyone will be muted so that we can enjoy a session without any interruption. And participants can use hashtag Dwell in Drupal 8 to post anything on this session in Twitter. And at the end of the session, participants will be unmuted, but please post your questions on chat so that Sivaji can pick the questions and answer them. As I mentioned, the question and answers is only for 10 minutes, so we won't have the time to answer all the questions. But don't worry, you can directly post the questions to me so that I can get them to Sivaji. So yeah, have a wonderful session. Over to you, Sivaji.
Yeah. Thanks again, Jaya. Good evening, everyone. As Jaya said, Dwell in Drupal 8 is going to be a series of webinar, and for today's webinar, I would like to briefly talk about what is newly there in Drupal 8 for developers and how things have changed from Drupal 7 to Drupal 8. So that is the thing I'm essentially going to cover on the surface. So when I say developers, I address people who can architect Drupal 8 and write custom code for the given case. So it could be module or theme or anything. So it's basically that kind of persons I'm targeting in this presentation. So what is new in Drupal 8 and how things have changed? So earlier in Drupal 7, we have had only the core components making use of object-oriented programming. That is user module, node module, taxonomy module, comments. Those things were based on object-oriented programming, and now the Drupal 8 has been rewritten fully to leverage the power of OOPs. Essentially, it is leveraging what is called a type-ending interfaces namespace. We will see them in detail going forward. And on the design pattern, it is making use of factory pattern and the late static binding. PSR standards are being used for namespacing and auto loading of classes. Besides, we have some interesting stuffs like plugins, services, dependency injections. These are primarily inherited from Symfony framework, and we have more contrib modules in the core like views, multilingual module, tour module, web services, and whatnot. So Drupal 8 has got more potential than what it used to be earlier, and at the same time, some of the least used modules were removed, like OpenID, blog, polling, forum. Those modules were least used, and they are moved out of the core, and they are being used as contrib module. So what is a module? So earlier in Drupal 7, module is basically a collection of functions. Either it will be a hook or a form builder function, or it will be a validation handler, submit handler, theme functions. So it was a bunch of hooks. Typically, most of them will be written in the .module file itself. And now, in case of Drupal 8, it has been architected as a well-organized classes. If you want to create a form, you will have a separate class. If you want to block implementation, you will have a separate class. So Drupal 8 offers a more legitimate way to extend the functionality of your Drupal site and to alter them. So I believe the future version of Drupal will have more readable code, which is more organized. I use this code to emphasize the readability. Any fool can write a code that a computer can understand. Only good programmers can write code that humans can understand. So that means it. So the code should be easy to read so that it will be easy to maintain, it will be easy to extend. So how things have changed. Typically, in a custom module, we will register a new path and we will perform logics that are specific to our project. So for that, hook underscore menu was primarily being used. So what hook underscore menu primarily does is it does a lot, and it has been a overlooked hooks by beginners especially. It carries routing information, which is what is the callback to be invoked for the given internal path, what is the access check to be invoked before responding to the given path, and translation of page titles and stuff. It can also be uh, it can also hold information about menus, whether it has to be a tab menu or a main menu item, those kind of information. Not just that, it also does automatic loading of object. For instance, when you give percentage term as a part of your internal path, it will automatically load your taxonomy. I mean, taxonomy underscore load. So it can automatically make a call to your load function. So in Drupal 7, it's more of a function that would respond to your page callback. It can be anything renderable array or a form array or a HTML string, but now in 8, only renderable array should be the output or the way of responding to a page request. And we have had a hook menu halter that will register the path information in case it has been already registered by some other module. In case of Drupal 8, it has been totally rewritten. So those routing informations are moved to a routing that YAML file. So it will be like your module that routing that YAML, and visible menu links creation. Those things are moved to links.menu.yaml file. Depends on the type of menu you will need. You will have to make use of different YAML file. Same way, the halter hook that carries entire routing information array. It has been split into different menu types. Depends on the menu types. You will have to engage the appropriate hook to alter them. As said earlier, it is page callback that will respond to page request, but now it has been replaced by a controller method. So the controller method will respond renderable array. And block system, which is the other commonly used. If at all you need any custom block that is specific to your project and you want to reuse them across multiple pages, blocks are the way to go. And these two simple hook implementation will let you create a block, custom block. So they are hook block info and hook block view. So hook block view will basically return the HTML output that will be rendered on the screen. So in 7 it was as simple as that, and in 8 it has been rewritten to leverage the plugin systems. So if at all your custom module have to create a custom block, it has to extend the block based class, and it has to implement the block plugin interface. So annotations are being used to identify the blocks. Annotations will expose the block ID and the block description, and uh, the the class implementation, which extends the block base, will provide build method. The build method will respond the page output. So at the least you need to have these minimal set of items to create a block. So this is how in Drupal 8 it has been more organized. So those two hooks we saw in Drupal 7 has been moved to a different class. So it's all your code wrapped under a common class. So what is new when it comes to theme layer? The theme layer, a PHP template engine was being used for theme layer. Now it has been replaced by Twig template engine. In case of Twig template engine, uh, there are no possibilities of making a direct PHP or a Drupal API calls. This has been avoided for performance and security reasons, and filter functions are automatically invoked. This is for favoring the security. It is often overlooked that some variable that is populated on the pre-processed page, they are not properly sanitized. However, they are passed on to TPL file for printing. That causes a lot of security loopholes. To avoid that, Twig automatically invokes security function whether you are mentioning it or not, and it has made the HTML markup more thinner and less number of CSS classes are added. So only the required number of classes are being added and makes use of a different convention. Themers no longer have to write PHP code. Instead, they can use a simple convention that will render the required output for them. And not just that, it provides a bunch of mechanisms for debugging and caching the Twig layer output. Those are the essential changes when it comes to theme layer. And on the way uh, uh, class or a theme function should respond, it has been changed. For instance, the theme functions, the bunch of theme functions, the functions that we loved are no longer there. I mean, they are there, but they have to be invoked in a different way, which means we should make use of renderable array. Instead of making a call to theme function, in the renderable array, we need to give the theme function name and whatever arguments it takes has to be passed on. And building a page output is much easier because it is all that array that defines your page output. Arrays easy to create in PHP and they are easy to manipulate in any module. So even at the very later phase of your page request, any module can manipulate the page output or a block output in the by overriding that renderable arrays. Performance is another area where more attention has been given when it comes to Drupal 8. So what is there? Drupal 8 supports PHP 7.x, which approximately 2 times much faster than PHP 5.x. As said, the type hinting and other stuffs that are rewritten in Drupal, PHP 7.x has given considerable performance improvement. Drupal 8 could leverage that, and Drupal 8 has a lot of uh, uh, performance favoring mechanism like a big pipe that can dynamically load the cached and the non-cached items in parallel. Yes.
Nothing, Shivaji, you can continue.
Okay. Okay, good. And we have a intelligent page cache. Earlier in Drupal 7, if at all any node is created or updated, your entire page cache table will be wiped out. In case of Drupal 8, only the affected pages will be cleared. So in that way, the page caching is more intelligent and it's not going to counteract independent of your size of the content. And we have a better support for in-memory caching and reverse proxy. So those are the limited performance, I could say, but on the performance, more work has been put on. And we have a auto load mechanism where you don't have to explicitly include or require the class file. Instead, it will be automatically loaded for you when you create an instance of the class. So in Drupal 7, we used to mention the class file path using the file directive. It was built on top of a custom registry. Now Drupal community has decided to make use of.
Shivaji,
Yes, Jay.
your voice is somewhat breaking.
I see. Okay, if it is breaking again and again. Tell me, I will see what I can do here.
It's okay. You can just log out and log in again.
Okay, should I do it now?
You just continue to speak for 2 minutes. Let's see
Okay.
how.
Okay. So as said, autoload is based on the intelligent class from Composer project, which does not demands you to mention the class file you should load. Instead, it does automatically. And in earlier in Drupal 7, we had no contrib modules to make a custom list of contents. For instance, there is no views like module in the core that will let us list the users or content or anything on our side. So we had to rely on panel views and those kind of contrib modules whose quality may not be assured since it's maintained by the community. Whereas Drupal core thought it is necessary to have a listing module, so it has taken the advantage of views contrib. It has added to the core, not just adding. All the administrative pages are converted to make use of the views. So we have the more room for personalizing the content to the way we require, the way we should build the admin pages for the client. For instance, if you don't like something on the user listing page, you can change it. If you want to add a profile field, you can add that with the help of the views module. So it offers more room for personalization, which was not there in Drupal 7. And form building is something uh, Drupal is often used for doing, and we had to rely on a web form like modules for creating custom forms in case of 7. And the core
Shivaji,
itself.
just a
Yes.
second. Your voice is being down now. You just log out and log in again, and we can continue this.
Okay, okay, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shivaji, I'm able to hear you. Carry on. You can carry.
Okay. This is the presentation. Do you see the presentation, Jaya?
Hello.
Do you see the presentation now?
Hello.
Do you see the presentation?
Yeah, I can see the presentation. Yes.
Okay. So earlier in Drupal 7, we had a no way to create. We had a limited option for creating a custom web forms. For instance, we could use Node module or the content module itself for creating form, but Node might be a overkill or too much of feature when revisioning or comments or a translation or a content translation is no longer required for form entries. So Node might be overkill for simple records saving, like something like saving the uploaded CV or stuffs like that. So we had to rely on a web form kind of module for that case, and for a simple contact site contact inquiries, we had a contact module, but that was limited only to contact inquiries receiving. So Drupal had thought about it and came up with a rewritten version of contact module that can be used for building any kind of form. So besides Node, we also have a contact module that can be used as a substitution for web form module for building custom forms. And form API has not changed much, except that those logical functions, the Drupal get, form, hash validate, and hash submit, they are renamed and they have been moved to a separate class file. The class has to extend the form base class, and it has to implement the form state interface. So those functions have been replaced by these methods now. Form, get form ID, form build, form validate, and form submit. So get form ID, as the name implies, going to give the machine name of the form that form alter hooks can make use of, and build form is going to return your form array, which would be different from the renderable array, not to be confused with that. And validate form and submit forms are your respective validation and submit handlers. So except this convention, I don't find much change there when it comes to form API. And we have something called a composer that comes handy for managing the dependencies. Symfony core components and guzzles are managed using the composer. In the Drupal core, you can find two files. One is composer.json, other one is composer.lock. Those files are acting as a manifest for building the dependency. I personally see composer as a successor of Drush make. So what are the development modules that we have? Coder module is there, Devel is there, Drush, Drupal console. Coder, it can help you with the two things. One, to convert your module from Drupal 7 to Drupal 8. So basically, what all the code convention changes are there, those things will be automatically converted by the coder, and it will leave some comment for you to do the needful action. That is one of the things. Other one is what is that? Coder can help you with the coding standards. So it can tell you if the code that you are writing, whether it is at par with the community standards or not. This is very essential when you are going to contribute the community when you are going to contribute the code back to the community. And Devel module is something that we have been using for a long while. It helps you with the debugging, generating sample contents and stuffs, uh, and those things. And we have a Drush, which is much similar, and some more features have been added to the Drush. And Drupal console is getting more adoption in the recent days. It helps you with generating the boilerplate code. For instance, if you want to create a new field widget or a new views integration code, it will provide boilerplate code, and which you can take it further, and you can make that module specific changes. Besides, for development, it is recommended to disable the Drupal cache, Twig cache, as well as Drupal cache. You can follow this link. There are some Boolean variables you need to change in your settings.php and services.yaml. And these are some of the online references, api.drupal.org, where you can find out the new equivalent of T, URL, L, and stuffs like that. And the examples module, this is very handy, where you can find working code. Whatever Drupal's 7 functionality we had just been replaced by a bunch of new stuffs. Those working codes you can find out from examples module, and we have coding standard which is updated now for Drupal 8. And I recommend reading design patterns and PHP 7. For PHP 7, I found PHP cookbook is very handy. I found PHP cookbook to be handy. Excuse me. We have come to Q&A session. you have any questions?
Hi, Shivaji, just a second. So, viewers, I'm very happy that you people came in. And before going to Q&A session, we would like to share a bit of information with you. Probably you people would have known about this online training portal called Drupal.me. So it's giving a free access to Drupal upgrade guide for limited time. Grab this opportunity along with the online references, whatever Shivaji is mentioning. You can also check out this Drupal.me. And yeah, I'm unmuting you all, so you can ask questions to Shivaji or chat actually. Arun? Okay, Shivaji, he's having no questions, it seems. You're pitch perfect. Your presentation is crystal clear.
Sivaji, thanks for a wonderful session for us. It's much
Thanks,
more
Arun.
for us. Along with me, the 4 or 5 members are joined to listen to your talk.
Okay, I think this is only a beginning, and moreover, it's going to be there
Yes,
on
getting much
YouTube
more.
as an archive. Yeah. So,
Anyway, viewers, if you have any questions, you can tweet it by using the hashtag #DualInReplayed. So that, and also you have Shivaji's email address here. So you can write to him directly, or you can tweet it using hashtag #DualInReplayed. So have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Shivaji.
thanks to Unimity, thanks to Shamla, thanks to Jaya for making this a good start.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.